So I have about 54 slides, but the first 20 or so is about introduction of Buddhism. So this is related to today's discussion of attachment and desire. So Buddhism was introduced in China during late Han period as a sort of a magic or a special set of skills to protect people from illness or protect people from how do you call it, calamities. Do you know the word calamities or disasters, like a big fire or running into the rubber in the mountain, those kind of calamities. So people didn't really realize the philosophical depth of Buddhism as an organized religion. So in Chinese context, Buddha, like the form of Buddha in anthropomorphic form, a seated figure, was represented as a part of tomb decoration, but not the overall philosophical ideas of Buddhism. So they in the beginning, Chinese people thought that it's one of more deities that they can incorporate in order to make sure comfort in their afterlife. Also, this is another view of this Buddha's form. So you can see in art form, Buddha was represented as a fully robed, fully clothed, seated figure with short hair, with a top knot here. And then he has a halo. So that would be the difference between ordinary human being and the Buddha. He's holding his garment. And then in China, they are creating this type of Buddha. It's made of bronze, and then it's gilt, meaning it is covered with gold. And this is a established iconography. Iconography means a set of visual symbols or visual clues to denote certain figures or concepts, iconography. For example, when we want to have iconography of liberty, right? Usually it's a Lady Liberty, right? But in Buddha, the iconography is in this form of a man seated, sometimes standing, but man seated. And how would you describe this seated posture? What kind of sitting is this? Anybody? Meditation. That's where I was getting at, like a meditation. It's not talking or like a smiling. There is no smile. the form of a meditation. And then with his hands together and like this seated posture. And then instead of having these round halos, sometimes you have the flames behind his body. But it's the same idea. He's so auspicious and special that rays, like a flames or light emits their rays around him. And then the gender is a man. And then this is an Indian style of aristocratic hairstyle. So you have a long hair. Sometimes you can just have it run down, but you make a clear top knot and then you tie on top of your skirt. So the example you see on the right is an Indian example of Gandhara. Sorry, there is A missing, like a Gandhara region's Buddhist statue. So in the beginning, Chinese people were emulating this Indian style Buddhist statue made in Gandhara region. There are several regions of Buddhist statue making. And before I move on, I want you to know some basic words. So toga is originally from the Roman Empire. Like a toga is this type of long one-piece drapery clothes, like so these lines denote that clothes are very much folded, right? So toga. Ushinisha is this top knot, but it looks like a hair, but actually ushinisha is described as protruding skull. He is an auspicious human being, so that it's even like a God later on. So his skull is protruding on the top. And then you have a flame like a nimbus. Sometimes it's called a nimbus, or you can say halo. And then when he sits down, because he's auspicious and respectful, even lions paid attention to his sermons. So you see the lion on either side. And then underneath you have one flower pot. What kind of flower would this be? Any idea? Yes, what did you say?
Lotus.
Yes, lotus. So lotus has a lot of symbolic values to Buddhism. I'm going to explain a little bit more about it later on. So the idea is, so Buddhism started in India, so that China adopted it without knowing so much in the beginning, but then eventually they will study Buddhism as a serious religious ideas and philosophy. And then in terms of visual art, they were also introducing Indian examples and making it into their own. And then they also adopted Mathura regions Buddhist statues as well. So Mathura and then earlier Gandhara are two major regions of Buddhist statues. So they also learned from here. And then they also created a standing statue. So now it's not seated, it's standing. And this particular type is called Bodhisattva. I want you to write down this on your notebook if you have a notebook. Bodhisattva. Sorry, there is no A. Sorry, Bodhisattva. This is the correct spelling. Bodhisattva. So what would be the difference between Buddha and Bodhisattva? Anybody who's taking East Asian art before or Indian art? Yes?
Their gender.
Gender? What do you mean by gender?
Female and male.
That is not correct. When we say Bodhisattva, at the moment, I am referring to their difference in status.
Helper.
What?
Professor.
The Bodhisattva is a helper.
Professor.
A helper. Okay. That is rather close what I am trying to say. So,
Yeah, Professor.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the Bodhisattva. The difference is that the Bodhisattva helps people get to enlightenment.
Excellent. Who's this?
Paulette. Sorry, I didn't turn my camera on. Sorry.
Oh, did you take classes before?
Yeah. I had Korean. Not Korean art. I had the Asian art history. I was learning Japanese and Indian art for the most part. So Bodhisattva was in Indian culture also. So the Bodhisattva helps people get to enlightenment, like themselves. Like, so he's like more like a. So in a way, yes, he is a helper.
Right. And that is an excellent answer. Anybody else who wants to add a little bit more? What's your understanding then? Oh, yeah, who's this?
This is Ria. I was going to say Bodhisattva still has attachments to the planet. And Buddha, he becomes without attachment.
That is very good concept as well. So everybody, I want you to note these ideas of enlightenment and attachment that I am writing over here. So the big difference between Buddha and Bodhisattva is, did somebody say something? Okay, sorry. Once I'm in the presentation mode, I cannot really see what's going on. So Buddha is your goal. Everybody, human beings, including animals, you are loving pets, including all the animals, creatures, like insects, even I guess bacteria, right? Creatures. Their goal is to be a Buddha. What is Buddha? it is not a title or a status. Buddha is almost equivalent to the realm or the stage of enlightenment.